Hey guys, thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of the show. I really wanted to be there. Some family emergency came up. I'm on the road right now, and I thought I could come on the show with you guys using my phone. But the link you sent me said laptop or desktop's required, and I'm still at least a couple hours from home, and I don't want to hold you guys up anymore. I really hope I can come back maybe next month, whatever book you're reading. I'd love to read it and join you guys in the discussion because I love what you guys do, and I'd love to see your channel and your podcast grow. And if I can help out with that, it'd be an honor. Um, I truly apologize. I wish I could be on there talking to you guys about Halloween. It's one of my favorite books that I've ever narrated. The Michael Myers backstory, finding out. Well, I'll let you guys discuss that part, but you know what I'm talking about. His Celtic roots and everything. It's really cool. Um, can't wait to hear what you guys say about the book. I'll be watching. Happy Halloween, and thanks again.
Hello, and welcome to the newest episode of Paper Movies, a novelization book club. I'm Jeremy. I'm joined by Adam and Matthew. Unfortunately, we were supposed to have a guest, 80 librarian, but something came up for him, and he can't make it. We hope you're doing okay, bud. Anyway, let's talk about Halloween by Curtis Richards. This is a novelization of the original Halloween and not the Rob Zombie remake or the Halloween 2018, because this series is like the lamest series when it comes to naming its movies, or kind of in general. But Halloween is about, well, it's about a guy named Michael Myers, 6-year-old kid, kills his sister, ends up going to an insane asylum. He escapes about 15, 16 years later. And I don't know how to math, but
I don't either.
He ends up stalking some teenage girls and he kills them.
Yeah.
But there's more to it. Everyone pretty much knows Halloween. It's the archetype of slasher movies. Even though it's a lot better made than most of those slasher movies are, it's pretty. It's an interesting book. It opens with a Celtic festival, like actual Celts, not the weird people that LARP.
Not a Renaissance festival.
Yeah, they throw boulders and stuff. No, this is the festival of Samhain, and we have a guy who gets a case of something I can't say on this podcast because he's weird looking, and the girl he likes doesn't want to be with him. She's going to be patroned. It's going
maybe
to be
at a party. Yeah, she's at a party, so maybe betrothed.
She's betrothed to someone else, so he gets mad, and with typical incel rage, he kills both of them, and then proceeds to be ripped apart by everyone, and they throw his remains off a cliff and curse him to walk the earth for an eternity. Cut to Halloween 1963, where Michael Myers' grandmother is telling Michael Myers' mother about how her father got crazy and shot some people because he had these visions that Michael's having, these nightmares. And well, mom doesn't really heed her advice, and thus Michael kills his sister after they have some graphic sex, which this is something we need to bring up in this book. Is the amount of sex that happens. It's not like it's smut, but it's like borderline.
Very, very much so.
I mean, I've read Stephen King and I've read worse, but so Michael goes to the insane asylum, and we cut to Laurie Strode, our protagonist for this book, which it takes a little bit to even get to her.
Yeah,
it does.
Which I kind of liked, that we really set up the story with Michael, which none of the sequel movies or sequel novelizations seem to talk about this, but Michael manipulating people in the asylum as a boy and how everyone was afraid of him. And it's implied that they taught him to drive.
Yeah, that part's a little bit silly.
It's like that was added just because, like, wait a minute, how can a guy in an asylum for like 15 years learn how to drive?
Well, in the movie, Loomis says, "I bet you one of these people taught him to drive," and like walks away.
I bet that was added just to be like, oh wait, we never actually explained that, so we'll just throw in a line.
I'm fine with it.
I mean, to me, the beginning of this book with that prologue, with everything with Michael Myers as a child, was incredible.
Yeah,
I thought that was really good stuff. And yeah, that part at the party when they start ripping his body up is like,
it's
the
gnarly.
revenge. It is. It's like so graphic, but like the rage that just fueled that from everybody. Like, you just killed these two people because you're crazy. So they went crazy and cursed him. So I thought that was really neat. It gave us a lot of information about what we have in the main storyline. Like, it explains who Michael Myers is, what he could be possessed by. I thought it was great. Very detailed.
It's also, as opposed to the original film, like this novelization, we have Michael Myers talking like he's a young kid, but but that's the only time ever in this original film or in the other original series that he actually talks.
Yeah, he doesn't talk till the Rob Zombie movies. And then you wish he didn't.
I mean, I know that in some other movies and stories, they've always said like, oh yeah, he knows how, he just doesn't want to.
Mm-hmm. But he's not Michael Myers anymore. And if I have one complaint about this book, it's that this is the only book where they don't really refer to him as the Shape.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's one thing I always hear people talk about, like when it comes to Halloween and Michael Myers. Oh, he's the Shape. He's this force that just moves, which they did kind of go into that in the 2018 novelization. I remember having
and Halloween Kills, they refer to him as the Shape. But like in these early novelizations, Halloween 2 doesn't really refer to him as a Shape. Like they'll refer to him as Michael. Well, first of all, these early books Michael Myers, you don't get his perspective on things, which is nice. It's not the 2018 one or Halloween Kills. We don't need Michael Myers' perspective on things. He's a dude that that murders people for various reasons, depending on what movie or book we're in. But I like that there is it's the craziest motivation I think that Michael's had in any media, which is that he's possessed by an angry spirit of a Celt who makes him think that he's killing this Celt's the woman he loved.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again, and that he gets pleasure from it, which is really weird, but like super psychotic, that there's like a sexual pleasure.
Yeah, it did hint towards that. It did.
Which is it's freaky to think about. But he's like in this like stuck in this loop that he has to keep killing because they all remind him of this guy's lover.
Yeah, and it's like when he goes back to that house, like he went back to his childhood home, and it's like that kind of gave him more fuel to seek out the girls that were in that neighborhood to do what he did. And it's a weird story. I like the origins of it though. Like I said before, the prologue, that really gave motivation and purpose to the story, because it's been such a long time since I've seen the movie. I don't remember why Michael Myers did the things that he did. And I'm glad we read this book, and that helps me understand.
The original movie, there isn't a reason.
Okay, and that explains it. Then.
That's what I think people don't understand because of these sequels. It's what 2018 kind of tried to do, but Halloween 2018 kind of sucks and failed at it. is they have one scene in 2018, and it's the scene where it's one shot how Michael Myers picks up a hammer and he starts picking people at random, going into their houses and beating them to death with a hammer, and then he switches to a knife. And he's picking people at random because he like walks by a baby, he looks at it, doesn't do anything with it.
Yeah, I remember that. I think I remember reading that, like going off what you said about like Michael Myers gets some type of thrill out of this. Like I think I remember, if I remember correctly, they said that he would get nothing out of killing a baby, so that's why he just left it alone.
Mm-hmm.
Because he didn't go after the children, did he? I mean, he was watching some kids pick on the little boy. His
Tommy
name's
Doyle.
escaping. Yes, Tommy. But he wasn't going to do any harm to that boy. I don't get
know.
anything. I didn't like get that implication. Like he was like, "Oh, there's that boy. I'm going to kill that boy." It's like he just wanted to go after the girls until he saw the boys.
Well, he picks Lori because Lori happens to drop the key off at the old Myers place, which they explain is sold, which is never brought up. And I just read Halloween's 2, 3, and 4. I did single cuts. So far, 2 and 3 are out right now, and 4 will be out soon. They don't ever explain the Myers house sold to some like New Englanders that thought it was neat that it was haunted. Like that, I think that's a neat little thing.
Yeah, going off like why he does what he does. It was just like it was always like implied that he's just evil, and that's one reason why he can't die either, is because you can't actually kill evil. But I honestly thought, and I might be jumping the gun here a little bit, like how the book ended as to pair how the film ended. I think that in a way kind of explained it a lot better, because they're just like, when Laura's just like, that was the boogeyman, wasn't it? And Loomis was like, as a matter of fact, it was. And then the novel ends. And I thought that was actually I loved how they ended the novelization. And like, I know I'm going a little forward here, but
it's fine. We're going to go all over the place with this.
But I've always kind of liked that line. I kind of felt like, well, that explains everything. He's the boogeyman, he's evil, Yeah,
I love how the kids, that Tommy and the girl were watching scary movies, and they keep referring to like, yeah, I saw the boogeyman's outside. That was kind of like chilling too, These kids see this guy in a mask walking around just being kind of a creep, like, it's the boogeyman.
Can we talk about the dynamic between Laurie Strode and her friends?
Oh yeah, how are they friends?
I know, right?
It's so weird. I feel the same way in the movie to a certain extent.
They kind of have a like that 70s show type of vibe of Friends, where they're like just like.
I think that 70s show was inspired by this dynamic.
But it's just, there's reading this, I'm just like, they're like very weird. It's just like
they're like, they have one thing on their mind the entire time.
Yeah,
they wanting to get laid.
They get down and dirty.
Yeah, the entire time. And Laura's just like, I'm just not into that right now. I got too many other things to worry about.
And that's why she's the protagonist.
Yeah.
She's the one that's flushed out, which it's weird. I want to talk about Halloween 2 briefly, because Halloween 2, Jack Martin tries to like explain how that these girls are friends with Laurie, and like Laurie gives them all these character traits that you don't ever see. I won't get into that because it's actually a really good scene from Halloween 2, and you should definitely check it out on the 80s Slasher Librarians channel, where he has Halloween 1 through 4 unabridged audiobooks, because these books are a pain to track down.
Yeah, I honestly was about to bring that up. Like, Halloween, the first one, is almost impossible to find. Like, you have to like basically be at that one right place, which might just be a random bookstore out in the middle of the country that doesn't know exactly what they're selling, or like to be able to find it, or you just have to buy it the Kindle version, which I believe is what all three of us did. But I personally,
I didn't buy it at all. I
you
just
didn't buy.
listened to it.
Yeah, I mean, I bought it just so that way I can have some form of copy. But for the whole book, I listened to the 80s slasher librarian, and I just want to say he did a great job.
He did
with this audiobook, and so just wanted to give that shout out to him because like he did a great job with this audiobook. And if you guys ever want to actually read this copy or just get the story, definitely recommend checking out his YouTube channel.
Yeah, which we'll provide a link down in that description box on YouTube. So
yeah. I will say that this book was one of the novelizations that my mom read when it came out, and she told me about it as a kid because I was a big fan of the Fog novelization, which I hope we can do at some point on Paper Movies. Another John Carpenter. With most of these John Carpenter novelizations are near impossible to find.
I actually went to a bookstore out here, like close to where I live, and I was talking to this woman about the Halloween novelization, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I used to have that one," and I was just like kind of leaning in, like, "Do you by chance still have it?" And then she's like, "Don't know what happened to it." I was just like, "Oh," just like so close.
I mean, this Escape from New York, The Fog to a certain extent, although it's a little easier to find. The Thing, those are so hard to find. Like, I only have I have Dark Star. Dark Star for some reason has a novelization. I don't know why, but that one got a novelization.
But
I want to bring something up here.
Okay.
The Mask. The Mask is different. It reminded me a lot of Alien and how the face hugger was different in the novelization. Like just a weird detail, because in Alien, the facehugger had an eyeball.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And in this, like the mask has like red lips.
Yeah, didn't it have darker eyes too?
Mm-hmm. Like I think I remember them saying that was just like it was just like two empty black holes or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was around the time when Laurie stabbed him with a hanger.
Yeah, because blood comes out, like in the movie of 2, when he gets shot in the eyes and blood comes down.
Going something that we mentioned earlier, yeah, like I remember like that scene with I'm terrible with names. You guys have to forgive me, but it's the scene with it's the couple that's they're in bed. It's the one where the Michael
Bob.
Where
he's the guy.
Yeah, where he puts on that ghost outfit wearing his glasses. It went into more detail than I thought was necessary about their lovemaking scene. And I was just like, when is Michael Myers going to kill somebody? I mean,
yeah, this is the stat. Never mind.
Can we talk about how Annie gets her guts like basically falling out of her?
Oh yeah, I thought was that inspiration for Scream?
It was inspiration to a lot of things. So
yeah.
I think that Halloween's script was a lot more graphic, but they didn't have the money. And that is something that I like the movie more for, because it doesn't need graphic. But this, it's like an addition. Like I'm kind of like on the fence on whether I like it or not. It feels more realistic. But like, yeah, he stabs her in the stomach and her intestines start coming out. Everything is just really, really graphic. Like, what's her face? Not Annie. The other woman, the other girl gets like her eyes are like bulging out as she's getting strangled.
Yeah, that was grossing me out too.
Yeah. This novelization also gave us more time with Loomis.
Yes. Well, that had to do with Donald Pleasance. They could only afford him for 1 week, and it took a third of the budget for that.
Wow, I did not know that.
Oh yeah, so the movie, most of the money was spent on using Steadicam, not Steadicam, but Panavision. Panaview, I think, is what it's called, which is it's basically a type of Steadicam that Panavision did.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why everything's handheld in Halloween.
I'm wondering if that would explain
But-
why he'd like with them only having Donald Pleasance for a week. I'm just like, let's make the most of it. Let's give him a gun. Let's
Let-
make it. Let's make
yeah,
him awesome. Yeah.
but that's why all his scenes feel rushed. It's that.
Yeah, I thought his part was kind of strange. Like in the beginning, it made sense, but then for him to be like, "I'm gonna go camp out at this house and sit in their yard for
Oh,
behind
yeah.
the bushes forever," like holding a gun, and some kids walk up. He's like, "Get out of here!" It's like, then he starts walking up and down the neighborhood. He sees a car, and he's like, "That's got to be it." He's like, "I can feel the presence of evil." Just kind of a silly role, I thought. I love the debate stuff that he's having with the judge in the
Mhm.
beginning too. When
Yeah.
Michael Myers
Yeah.
is growing up, and it's like, "Tell me what the problem is." He's like, "I can't explain it, but like everybody's bending down to his will, just doing what he is basically telling them what to do." I thought that was cool.
Well,
It was-
it's like he's a mythical figure, and all these weird things happen to people who do him wrong.
They kind of played on that in Halloween 2018, where like there's like where they're in the prison or the mental facility, and there's like this one squared off space where Michael Myers is in. It's just like when he kind of slightly moves from it, everybody else starts freaking out. Like when he realizes his mask is being pulled out. So I was wondering if like if maybe that's like tied in somehow.
Might be. I don't know. 2018 is a lot of good ideas gone to waste.
This book, it was so short, but it felt like a huge story, didn't it?
Exactly. It is.
It was complete.
It's the perfect length for a movie novelization. It's something you modern writers need to understand. We don't need a 400-page novelization. We don't. You need to
And
be
this
sure.
added so much. It added so much to the
Exactly.
story.
Yeah, there's altered dialogue, which I thought was, some of it was actually, an improvement.
Yeah.
But there was like additional scenes, like, with the Celts and extended scenes, like, I mean, I was impressed that they managed to squeeze all of that within, like, for an audiobook's length. I think it was like around 4.5 hours. Like, that was very impressive how that was pulled off.
Oh yeah.
It's just like Batman was a lot like this. Like all these vintage movie novelizations understand that you can add some things, you can keep the story as a whole, but you don't need to go that long. A movie novelization shouldn't be Revenge of the Sith. All right? Like
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be that long. Like or Halloween 2018, too long. The Predator, too long. Like Alien Covenant, too long. Halloween Kills, an hour into the audiobook. I think it's too long. Like
It's got 312 pages.
it doesn't need you cut 100 pages out. It's like editors. This is an editor thing. You need to be able to edit in a quality way. And that's I'm gonna get off my soapbox now. But like it's like because we do have some great writers in the paper movies
Oh yeah, genre.
Facebook group, and I think they're fantastic. But it's just something with these modern novelizations, which I'm very thankful that novelizations are coming back into style. But like there's a point. Rambo First Blood Part 2, that's a perfect example of a book that is the perfect length.
Oh yeah, definitely. That was a good one.
That's a good one, man. But like a lot of these ones that Dragon Slayer, excellent. License to Kill, a little bit too long, but like it's sort of in that area. Like it's like something happened.
I remember Go ahead.
It's like either in the 90s or with this renaissance of movie novelizations.
I remember Raiders was pretty like short too. And what was the other one? It was like X-Files was pretty.
Well,
Yeah, it was a short one.
Yeah, that's true. It was too short of an audiobook. They just left the last chapter out.
the whole last chapter.
But like, what was your favorite addition that you found in this novel than in the film.
It has to be the introduction
I agree.
with
I did
all
enjoy
that
that.
stuff with Michael Myers as a child, and like his setup for when he murders his sister was so brutal and just I don't the word awesome isn't appropriate, but you know what I'm trying to say? Like it was just set up
It
and
was
told very
horrific.
well. It was
It-
horrific, and it was told so well. And it's like, wow, this demented little child just actually he did that. And like I think it talks about it later on somewhere else, like maybe in the middle or at the end of the book when maybe Lori was talking about it or something of how he stabbed her. How many times? Like 40 something times or something.
50.
But
50
Yeah,
is what they estimate in court.
it was like all over her body. It was just so horrible. But I thought that was a great addition.
For me, and it's something that the Rob Zombie movie tried to do and failed at, although it's the best part of his remake, is Michael in the sanitarium and explaining Michael growing up and the fear. And you really start to realize he's not a human anymore. He's possessed by this evil Celt. And he is so evil. And he's done all these horrible things to people who have done him barely wrong. And you understand Loomis's fear. I think that is my favorite part. Although just the overall adaptation from the screen to a novel is just perfect.
Yeah. What about you,
Adam.
Adams?
Hmm?
What about you?
Oh, I said I agree with you. I like the stuff with
Oh.
the beginning with the Celts and everything.
Okay.
Kind of like the little backstory behind it.
Yeah.
There was one thing that I thought was a little different, and I could have missed it, but like at the end, I thought Laurie Strode spent like the whole movie, like or the last half of the movie, just like trying to get away from Michael Myers, and it's just like what's different is that when Loomis gets there and shoots him a few times and he falls through the window, she is insisting and demanding to go with him. She wants to see him dead too. And in the film, she was just like, was that the boogeyman? Like, and I was like, I thought, like, while that's brave and everything, I was just like, personally, me, I would be like, yeah, I'm leaving. I believe you. He's dead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she stabbed him in the neck, gouged out an eye, stabbed him in the genitals. Like it, she fought him tooth and nail, and he just kept coming at her.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to make sure he was dead.
Yeah, I do get that, but at the same time, it's like, bye, I'm out of here. It's but I did that was an interesting touch. It was different than the film. Like I said, like she was just trying to get away from him, and but I did like some of the added scenes with Loomis, like in the sheriff. They were just like you get those hints that like the sheriff's is just like it's not that big of a deal, but Loomis is like no, and no one believes them. Like no one ever believes these people when they say no, this person is dangerous. It's kind of like the whole thing with Jaws, like no one believes there's a shark in there, or they don't take it seriously, but yet it always comes back and bites them in the butt. No pun intended. But
So, what would you guys rate this? Start with Adam.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good, adaptation, and like you said, it was the perfect length for a movie novelization. I gave it an A.
Matthew.
Wow. I'm going to say, because it added such good stuff in it, extended the book out, and it still remained to be short. Had a good beginning, middle, end, tied up nice. The thing that I'm going to deduct from it was some of the graphic, like sexual stuff. I thought that it kind of took things a little bit too far, and it got weird. It's like, why are we going into this 3-page sexual encounter when we could be talking about something else?
Fair enough. Yeah.
So because of that, I'm going to deduct it down 1 letter grade to a B+.
Okay, guys. I'm going to do a first here. I give this a 6 out of 5 stars.
Oh wow!
This is the best thing, in my opinion, we have ever done on this podcast. I
Really?
understand why this is out of print,
Even more than Alien.
even more than Alien.
Wow, because Alien was a good book.
Yeah, that was
Alien
a
was a
really good
really good book.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I gave that a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I don't remember. I know
I
I
don't
gave
remember.
it like an
That
A+.
was back in January. But yeah, no, this is the best thing I think we've read on this podcast.
Hey,
It's gonna
That's
make
good.
next month's book
Yeah.
club a little difficult.
yeah. yeah.
It's party time.
It's party time. So, Adam, what have you chosen for next month?
I've chosen, I don't have it with me right now. Normally we show these at the end, but I've chosen a novelization by Steve Perry, The Mask, the Jim Carrey film based on the comic book. It kind of goes with like what we were just talking about. It seems like a pretty, like, I don't think it's over 300 pages. I don't even think it's over 200 pages, but I'll have to double check. But yeah, we'll be discussing the novelization to The Mask.
Looking forward to that. And the last I checked, there was like 1 or 2 copies left on eBay. So go get them, guys. Get that copy.
And again, if you want to read the novelization of Halloween, you can get it for around $10, I believe, on Kindle. Or if you want to, like I said, 80 Slasher Librarian produces these audiobooks, from his YouTube channel, for free, just so that way you guys can enjoy these types of novelizations.
Yeah.
And if you want to check out more Halloween reviews from Paper Movies, check out last year's book club of Halloween 2018, and or check out our single cuts. I've done reviews of Halloween 2, 3, and 4 will be coming out in the next couple days, and possibly Halloween Kills.
Nice.
But it may not come out on Halloween. It may be in November.
Yeah, and those single cuts are exclusive to the podcast. So
yes,
pull up your Apple Podcast or Spotify, wherever you can listen to podcasts. We'll be there.
And there'll be more single cuts to come. We've all discussed, ones that we want to tackle. I got one for Daredevil coming soon. And also there'll be some changes to the channel soon. But we'll get into that later. Just a heads up on that. So
yeah, it won't always be me talking on the single cuts. I just got on a roll after this book and just kept reading on.
Kept going.
He did a workout and had a Red Bull. He's like, let's do this. It's like
Many
single
long-
cuts.
But anyway, that was Halloween 1978, the night he came home. And this has been the Paper Movies Podcast.
Hope you guys have a happy Halloween.
Stay Gucci, everyone.